His position on the Salisbury steak was it's
Well,
just good,
he-
Dad. It was good. That's
Listen,
it.
he ate everything
just
I
good.
put on the plate.
Dude, he goes and we don't got it. It's Salisbury steak is a mid food for the amount of preparation, everything you got to do for it. No, it is not an
I
above average
disagree.
food.
It
It is
actually-
middle tier. It
for
is,
me, I found it
is
very
the
easy.
C or B status.
It
It is
was
not
not
A or S.
hard.
I did
It's
not. I
hard
did.
to cook.
I did less prep on it
Pissing
than
me
I do
off.
on tacos or fajitas or other stuff. It's actually pretty easy. Very,
Well,
very easy.
I'll just wait until
Oh,
you're
that's
back
sick.
at
You want
college,
this
and then
background.
I'll make some Salisbury steak again.
Dude, I
So-
thought it was amazing. I thought it was fantastic. I made it, Ace, and I made it last night, and it was good.
It's
And
all right.
you can serve it. I
Don't-
served it with egg noodles. The egg noodles were good, right, Ace?
So we
Good
had
the
it
egg
with.
noodles.
I did some sauced potatoes
I'm
and
gonna lose
green
my
beans
mind.
that we had heated up.
Well,
So-
I like because you're basically creating that gravy, okay? And it's not super thick, but I like that to go on something. So mashed potatoes, rice, the egg noodles were just easy to cook. They cook fast.
Yes.
And I just wanted, because I spent the time working on the steak. So,
I agree.
And then of course yesterday I made those shrimp and chicken lettuce wraps, which your mom loves.
Yep.
And those are and those are good. And since I was already out there and I already had peppers and onions that I was grilling, I went ahead and threw a piece of smoked sausage on there, and I had me a smoked sausage dog. Hey, can you put that picture up? Is there some way you can put that picture up? I mean, I already taken a big bite out of it.
It would have
That
to be.
was- we need
it'd
to
have
do that.
be
We need
one of
to
those.
we need to be able to put pictures up.
Actually, if you give me like, I don't know, of the smoked sausage dog, that's the one
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could do it. You just have to give me like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Work it out while Ace is rambling on about how Salisbury steak is just an average meal.
It is an average meal. Sorry.
yeah, he's not really a big fan of it, and that's
I
fine.
don't mean to burst your bubble, but it's mid.
I think it's
Too
good.
bad.
What was the rating
I
we gave
think
for
it's
ballpark
good.
food? So is it like C or something or B? See,
It's C or B.
I would put it A. I wouldn't put it at the top, but I'd put it A.
Well,
at least
you
gotta
had
go B.
Hell no.
I think you had sausage dogs in like S tier, anyways. That was
Always,
higher.
man. Listen,
You-
that's always my go-to. And I have to, you get older and I have to, because I'm not taking any medication to deal with any
Mhm.
aging issue, and I'm watching what I eat. But every once in a while, if I had a chance, okay, I would eat, smoked sausage all the time. I just love smoked sausage, bratwurst. It's just so good, especially if you have the right things with it. I like to cut up the smoked sausages and like you do for a low country boil, and then toss it with zucchini and onions. Now that is good. Just a little bit of olive oil and just salt and pepper. Boom, that, and then like a side, mac and cheese, and mashed potatoes. But I love smoked sausage with onions and peppers and mustard or spicy mustard on there. Man, that's just so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of my favorite things. And so I made one yesterday. I was already out there. I had the griddle up, empty. After 4, Braves still down 2-0. They want to get that sweep of the Pirates. There you go. Look at that right there. I had already taken a huge bite out of it. That
lot of
was
peppers
really
and
good.
onions, man.
And you know what? Yeah. And that was really, really good. Really good with those craft beers that I was drinking.
While we're here, I'll do this just so everybody can kind of see this too. I was actually pretty happy about this. I was very
Yeah, that was
Salisbury
yours.
steak last.
Yep, that was
It's
yours.
really good, man. You see the onions, the grilled onions.
Looks mid to me,
Ashley
Dude,
liked
it's
it.
so good, man. And what's funny is, Ace.
So you
Ace
went
probably
with green
thinks this,
beans?
yes, Salisbury steak and meatloaf are 2 of the best meals, just comfort foods that you can have out
for
there.
me, absolutely,
They're
absolutely.
really good. So,
Yeah.
no, I like the
You
meatloaf
know,
that you.
I mean, I slaughtered that Salisbury steak. I mean, it was awesome. Your meatloaf is I mean, your Salisbury steak looked really good. Your mom's
Yeah.
meatloaf is just to die for. I mean,
Yeah, it's good.
it is unbelievable.
It
So,
is good.
all right. So you got to admit though, for a mid meal though, Ace, it was cooked well. It was well. It was
It's good,
done
man.
right.
It was mid.
Can't say that it's. I think he's ready, baby.
This guy,
Don't just
this
leave him alone.
guy,
Just
man, this guy.
Just
Where did
ignore
you-
him.
Where do
You
we
want
find
me
it?
to glaze
Listen,
this
hey,
Salisbury
listen.
steak like it's the best thing I've ever tasted.
the
It's
next
not.
time you
It's
ask me
not.
for something, you know what I'm gonna say? Go get it from your real dad.
Okay. Where is he?
I don't know. You have to ask your mom.
All right, here
But
we
when
go.
you find him, hey, I got a bill for him.
Yeah, I'm a real. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I got a huge bill for
It's
him.
a lot of money.
So,
Yeah. No, all right. Well, we're back. This is episode 8 of the
Episode
Tailgate Show.
8.
We are starting a college football preview special series. We're going to start with the Big 12 today, and then we're going to hit the ACC, Big 10, the SEC, and then some Group of 5 teams, which there's only a few of them that are really worth talking about.
Strawberry
Everybody's
lemonade.
drinks. I don't have a drink right now. I don't know if they drink anything, but
Yeah, what are you drinking? Pepsi? Yeah, Pepsi.
I don't really have
Soda
anything.
Sunday.
Coke's better.
Makes sense. But anyways,
Just don't have it.
so yeah,
Coke and
Big
Pepsi
12.
are interchangeable.
No, they're not. Coke's
Uh,
better. Don't do that.
Same thing.
Big 12 preview.
No.
This is a conference that, to me, well, it's just a bunch of teams with some talent, but they can't match the NIL budget of the SEC
Yeah.
as a Big 10. So it's a bunch of almost smaller market teams, really, because college football now is pretty much large market, small market. It's really what it is now. So
Absolutely.
there is one team in the Big 12 that has a big budget, but outside of that, no one really does. So
Yeah, they
It's
don't
one of
spend a
those.
ton of money. They're not. I mean, it's if you and we might need to do this later or whatever. But if you take all the conferences, okay, and you
Mhm.
line them up 1 through whatever, I mean, like the SEC and the Big 12 have 16. I think the ACC and the Big 10 have like 20 each. So just do the top 16, okay? And so and if you played that 1 through 16 all the way through, all right. The Big 12 may win 2 out of the top 5, but then they're just going to get slaughtered the rest of the way. They're 5, they're 6, they're 7, they're 8. They're not just going to get killed. I
Mhm.
mean, if you go by some of the magazines, South Carolina is either 10, 12, or 14. So if South Carolina is 14, then that means by my thing, or well, not by mine, but by most other, South Carolina would be playing either Iowa State or Baylor. That's a 5-touchdown win. I mean, at the bottom, from the middle to the bottom, the SEC and the Big 10 are just going to blow the other 2 conferences away. It's not even, I mean, they wouldn't even scoop up a win. So yeah, so it's a little bit different. And like you said, we're going to do each conference, and today is the Big 12. So we are here with Drew, the showrunner, Ace, the comic relief, and me, the back scratching juice box guy. I've had a few people say something about the back scratcher.
The dudes at work that apparently have caught on will not stop mentioning the juice box guy.
That's
forever.
right.
Keep talking about
And
it.
hey, look,
Juice box guy.
I got this back scratcher. Okay, I have it around the house. I have one in my truck right beside mine. Do I not, Ace?
Yeah, I know.
So I can pull it out.
That back scratcher, man.
Well, you get older and it's harder to push your arms, and there's only spots you can't reach anyway. So the back scratcher, baby. So I am the back scratching juice box guy, also known as the sage of college football.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Lord have mercy.
I got some bold predictions.
Okay. I mean, mine
Not
aren't
today.
very
I'm a
bold.
realist.
Today's run of the mill.
Mine aren't
but-
very bold. But we'll start off with our state of the Big 12. So we'll just run through. I'll go first, but I'm going to give you 5 teams that I think have a shot at winning the Big 12. Doesn't mean that the bottom 4 or 5 have a shot, but so first, Texas Tech, obviously, they're the heavily favored. BYU, Utah, Arizona State, Houston. I'm going to leave out Arizona and Kansas State right now. I like Arizona State's coach better, but these teams, and like you said, really behind them, there's not much else. I mean, once you get to 7, once you get to 8, all the way through 16, I mean, Oklahoma State, TCU, West Virginia, Kansas, Baylor, Cincinnati, Colorado, UCF, and Iowa State. These are teams that pretty much should be in the Group of 5. They just happen to be in the Big 12, but they're at the same level as Group of 5, and none of those teams spend very much money, and they're not going to compete. It's going to phase out. It is what it is. But here's a question I want to start off and pose to y'all. And you can, after y'all answer this question, y'all can go and give me kind of your state of the Big 12 by giving me your 5 to 6 teams, whatever you have that have a chance at winning. And that's pretty much what we're going to focus on today, because we're not going to talk too much about teams that really just don't have a chance to us.
I want to run through my
First,
16 through 1, but it'll probably be as fast as you'll take. So I want to hit on every team just to be fair. And You gotta make some fan bases mad, or you're not doing anything right.
Well, first off, here's the first question that I have to open it up: Is the Big 12 stronger than people think?
I think the Big 12 and the ACC are about the same level. After the first 2 or 3 teams, I think that the Big 12, you could take a lot of Group of 5 teams or whatever, and just out of those conferences, and you could run through this conference pretty easy. I think Notre Dame threatens to win this conference if they were in this conference, and of course they're not. But if they were in this conference, I think they threaten to win the conference. So
Okay, would.
I don't think that Notre Dame could win the Big Ten or the SEC. I think they could win the ACC. I think they could threaten this conference.
So I'll answer. I wouldn't say that the Big 12 is stronger than most people think. There's a few teams, and by few, I mean very, very few, that can make the playoff. I look at this conference as top heavy, with some teams that could make a run in against the SEC and the Big 10. And by that, I mean like 2 or 3. That's pretty much it that have a chance. I'll give you my 16-1, and you give me your 16-1. So I got Colorado dead last, UCF, Iowa State, Cincinnati, Kansas, Baylor. I had TCU, West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Then I had Kansas State, Arizona State, Utah, Houston, Texas Tech, and BYU. I have BYU number 1. And I just think this is the year they kind of overcome the talent gap that they had last year.
We have quite a few differences.
But that's mine. And if you're just telling me, give me a top 5, which is really what I focus the most time on, is BYU, Texas Tech, Houston, Utah, and Arizona State.
Okay. So I'll give you mine, and I'll give you just a quick. At 16, I have Iowa State. They're just not relevant. That's all it needs to be said. I've got Colorado at 15. Coach Prime, he has his name. Great athlete. One of the best athletes of our lifetime. But he's not an upper tier coach. He's had more talent. He can get the talent. They don't spend as much of the money, but everywhere else, his name, he's one of those guys who can recruit, but he doesn't assemble a good. And for a guy that has access to all these NFL players and coaches, it's just disappointing. West Virginia, maybe 4 or 5 wins, and you can attribute those to the schedule. 13, I got Cincinnati. They are. What happens to them is going to be dependent. They have a huge incoming portal transfers. So I don't know, maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 wins is the tops for them if everything works with the chemistry and all. Number 12, I got Baylor. They've got a whole new offensive line. They end the season with BYU, Texas Tech, and Houston. Okay, so if they come in at 4 and 5, they're going 4 and 8. So that's just unfortunate. Kansas State, Coach Leopold had a good start in his first couple of years there, but he lost traction in what I think is at least tied for, but probably the worst power conference. So UCF, I've got 10th, and I've got Frost's best days. They're likely past him. He had his good run there before. He's done his thing. I think that's all over. TCU may go to a bowl, maybe not. Kansas State will probably end up in a bowl with their 6 wins, maybe 7. Avery Johnson's a good athlete, but he's not a winner. He's not an elite level talent with an average team and a first-year head coach. Not just first year at Kansas State. This is his first year as a head coach. He will have growing pains. He will have things to learn. And this is just not the right spot to learn. I've got Houston number 7, okay? They're replacing the 2 best defensive linemen, the end and the tackle. They'll benefit from an unimpressive schedule, but otherwise, I got Arizona State is 6.
Okay.
Look, they've got a rebuilt defense. That's uncertain. Okay. They've got a great receiving core, but I don't trust Cutter Boley.
Yeah.
The old Kentucky guy. His first ever college start was against South Carolina, and he got eaten alive. I know it was his first college start or whatever, but he got eaten alive by an average team at the time. So
he did.
Their key games, they've got Oregon, and then they've got back-to-back. Arizona. Sorry, they got Texas A&M, and I think that's their second game of the season. And then they got Oklahoma State and Arizona. Notice what's missing out of there. Arizona State doesn't have to play Texas Tech or BYU. I'm pretty sure they don't play Texas Tech, BYU, or Utah. So they don't play the 3 best. So that's a huge break, man. So that's going to help them. That's why I have them 6th. and that's the only reason I have them above Houston. Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has two solid linebackers. Chisholm and Ethan Wisłowski are really good linebackers, okay? Especially in that conference, the way that the conference is played. Okay, they're more their style is like that. Last year, you had two really good linebackers and Roberts and Rodriguez lift a team up, and of course that defensive line was tough too at Texas Tech. But so I think that helps them a lot. Yeah, Oklahoma State, the offense will put up points, and they've got Oregon and then back to back at Arizona and Houston. That will tell what kind of season they have. I've got Arizona as 4. All right. And so for them, you know, they don't have one single person on the first team, all conference team in any of the publications. That's offense or defense, but they're balanced. Okay. I like their coaching, their key games. They've got BYU, Texas Tech, and Utah. If they can win one, so they play in what I have as the 3 best teams in that conference. If they can win one of those, okay, I mean, they're looking at 8 or 9 wins. So, but they're going to have to pull that off. So then you get to the big 3, and that's where, you know, I did a lot of consideration. I didn't give as much at the bottom, but I've got Utah. Okay, they moved they promoted their defensive coordinator. I usually like that, but in a conference like this, the way their conference is, I just think you need an offensive head coach. I think that's probably going to hurt them. The guy's a good coach. Who knows if he's going to be a good head coach? But I think that's going to hurt them. Devin Dampier is a stud. He's a great runner, and he's good enough through the air, you know, to keep them in games, even against some of the better teams. I still think that, you know, of course, you know, they don't play Texas Tech. That helps. They will play BYU. That's kind of a rivalry. So they have Arkansas the second week of the season. All right, they should win that game. It's at home. If they win that game, all right, I mean, because Arkansas is, again, you've got like one of the bottom 3 teams in the SEC playing one of the top 3 teams in this conference. And the spread's probably going to be 4 or 5 points. Okay. But go the other way and you take like West Virginia, Colorado, Iowa State, and they play Texas, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, and what happens? It's probably 20-something point on spread there. So that was the difference that I was making about the argument I was making about the conference. So, and they got BYU. The thing is, Houston and BYU and Arkansas, but Houston and BYU, their 2 toughest conference games are at home. That's going to help them. I have Texas Tech second, okay? So that means I have BYU first. And the only reason Texas Tech is where they are is money. If they weren't spending this money, they would not get the recruits that they have. They outspend every other team in their conference by a country mile. And that's why they have 10 all Big 12 first-team players on offense and defense. I think they have 6 players on defense, you know, and that's the positives. So they spend the money, you know, they got a good coach, you know, a step up above serviceable. But they lost the best linebacker in Jacob Rodriguez in the country last year. The only issue I saw with that guy watching him play is that stupid-looking mustache. But that guy, he'll play in the NFL. He's going to be a Pro Bowler at some point. And they also lost the entire defensive line. Okay. I mean, they put pressure on the quarterback last year. What did BYU? They lost 2 games. Both of them were there. And why did they lose them? Because they couldn't move the ball. But that line is gone, and that was the strength of the team. You know, they do have Roberts back, Ben Roberts, and that guy is a gamer. So they got Arizona, Oklahoma State, and TCU. So they don't play BYU or Utah. So out of the top 3 teams that I have, that's going to be a big deal. So out of the top 3 teams that they have, okay, in that conference, and you could maybe shuffle or whatever, but this is what I have. Texas Tech doesn't play the other 2. So they're the ones that kind of, you know, they get the break. BYU, I think Kalani Sitake is the best coach in the conference. I think this guy I think he could coach anywhere. Bear Bachmeier is just a winner, okay? This dude is tough. He's mentally tough. He's physically tough. In the NFL, he doesn't have the characteristics that they look for when they do interviews and they study you and all that. But at the college level, especially, you know, in the Big 12, and this guy could be an SEC quarterback too, he has all the skills, man. You know, mental and physical toughness and so that raises him up. They've got Utah on the road, so the big one that matters, they're on the road. They also got to play Arizona, And the big one is they play Notre Dame. Now they got Notre Dame at home. All right. I think that game, if they beat Notre Dame and they do not win the Big 12, if Texas Tech wrestles it away from them, but they beat Notre Dame, I don't see why that conference doesn't get 2 teams in, and so they get 2 teams in the playoff. I don't see why they don't still make it. Also, of course, if they lose to Notre Dame but they win the conference, they're automatically in. So, but I'll be honest with you, I could see BYU running the table. I could see them 13-0, which means they're probably going to be 2 or 3 because the SEC and the Big Ten are just not going to have an undefeated conference winner. I don't think. You had Indiana last year. I get that or whatever, but I just don't see that happening this year. So, and that's basically my conference rundown. So, y'all's
and
thoughts?
That's a little bit different than mine. Like I said, I think we should let Ace if he has a kind of like a predicted order of what he thinks.
I do.
Give us your rundown.
I figured we do the top. We do the 16. It kind of makes sense. So you said, what was your first question, Drew? Are they?
So the first question that I had just in general was the Big 12 stronger than people think?
I would say absolutely yes. Just because of how many contenders they have who can possibly win it. All right, win their conference. Because it's just so uncertain right now. Nobody knows. All right. I mean, look, we could have mentioned 5 or 6 teams who have a good possibility right now of winning it. How many other conferences can say that? We're running the table on 2 or 3 maybe. This team has 4, 5, and 6. I think that's pretty crazy right now. Just because the talent gap isn't as much as people think in the Big 12. It's really not as big as it is when you
mean
go
among the
to
top 5
a
or
school.
6 teams?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just go with my top 16. I have West Virginia as the very bottom. They are in a rebuild. They're facing this massive uphill climb. There's so much that team needs to do before they even hit the top 10 in their conference. Then I have Colorado. That team is just so uncertain. Dion is just in this weird transition phase with coordinators. They got what's that quarterback, the Julian kid or whatever. He's so young. There's just I don't know. Nobody knows. Everywhere I'm looking to see what Colorado's looking like, nobody even wants to mention them in the top 10 because they're so uncertain. And I think 14 through 16 is probably where they're going to end up. Truthfully, they're going to be a 3-9 team again. UFC, I have them athletic roster, but again, too unpredictable. We don't know, especially in a conference like this one. I just don't see. Yes, I have them at 14. I just can't have them.
They got some work to do.
Yeah, they do. Kansas, they just need more consistency. I like Kansas. I think they have a pretty solid culture, but all around, they're not hitting it for me. I got Cincinnati. They're competitive, but lack a top end roster talent. Oklahoma State. It's a very new era for them. They're really unknown, and but I would say a lot of improvement exceeds expectations for me, just off of what their transfer portal is looking like. But I don't see nothing that would put them in the top 10. Then at 10, I have TCU. They're just the middle of the pack team. They got some upset potential, and I'm just gonna go same thing with Baylor here. Put them at 9. Talented, but consistency just isn't there. Iowa State. Yeah. Iowa State, hard to trust, dangerous team, but all around, I don't see too much.
They're at 8.
Yeah, 8. I have Houston at 7. I think it's a sleeper team all around. I think their expectations are gonna exceed this. I think they're probably gonna be more at that 5, 6 range. But right now, just because I think Arizona and Arizona State's ahead of them, I'm gonna put them at 7. 6, I have Arizona. Talented enough, everywhere I've looked analytically has 6 to 8 range, and I think Arizona is just a better team than Houston, Iowa State, so that's why I put them there. At number 5, have Arizona State. They're defending the this past season, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard not to put them in the top 5. I know they lost a lot of key pieces, but teams don't fall off that hard after winning something like that. Is my thing. You don't fall off that hard. Still same coaching staff. You still have a lot of those players. Yes, you're losing key guys, but at the end of the day, that team just it's coming off of a conference team. I have Kansas State. Overall, let's be real, they have the best culture. You have players now and again keep talking about how great it was they went there. There's no other school they'd rather go to. These are guys in the NFL now that come back I've never seen so many players praise their alumni school so much. I don't see that. I think Kansas State is a great place to go. Opposite of so many other teams in this conference right now. Number 3, I got Utah. They are a very physical roster, and they have a lot of bounce back potential. And hopefully, if they're healthy, they can go out and prove something. Number 2, I got BYU. They're 24-4 of the last 2 seasons. Their defense is elite, and they've proven to be consistent. It's hard to not have them at 1 or 2 right now. If you're doing just preseason ranking, it's incredibly hard not to. And then number 1, you got to go, Texas Tech, loaded roster. And I just think they have the most talented team. And I know that has to do with money.
I agree.
Of course, that's just what it is. But I mean, when they're going to enter this year, they are going to have the most talented team, top to bottom. That money is going to buy them.
Ace,
And
I don't disagree with that.
I think that it's hard. I know you got BYU and Utah right there. They're spending an NIL nowhere near what Texas Tech is, and I think they can still come out and win. I'm not saying they can't, but look, it's Texas Tech. They got the money.
You know what
Wait,
BYU needs?
Who won the Big 12 last year?
Texas Tech.
It was Texas Tech? Okay.
Yeah.
And then the
I
preview.
mean, they won like 29-7 or something like that.
Yeah.
They ran away with it.
Now they lost their first playoff game,
Yeah.
Okay.
But
and they had one of the buys.
so let me give y'all.
So let me
Kinda
touch on
mine.
something real quick about that, Ace. Ace, I'm with you. I struggled between Texas Tech and BYU because honestly, I think that AJ Holmes and Ben Roberts are. I know everybody's saying that the Oklahoma State quarterback is going to be the player of the year, but I think that Holmes and Roberts are the 2 best players in the conference. They're not only on the same team, they're on the same side of the ball. Their defense is going to be good, but they do have to. I mean, they lost a lot on. They lost Rodriguez and they lost that line. I mean, so it's going to be interesting. Okay, the reason and no doubt that Texas Tech has more star power, more higher paid talent, but I think BYU has less holes. Okay, and I think BYU's coach. Texas Tech is here overall talent, and BYU's maybe here. This is my thought. Okay. And Texas Tech's star power is here. BYU's here. But when you look at the holes and the issues, here's BYU and here's Texas Tech and here's BYU. So I think that levels it out a little bit. And I'm going to roll with coaching is what gives them the bump up. So now the other thing I thought about was that Texas Tech, like I said, they don't play BYU or Utah. But it doesn't matter because 1 and 2 will play each other. So that works itself out. And that's the good thing is I think we're going – I don't see any way that Texas Tech loses 2 games in the conference. Maybe 1. They're not going to lose 3. So that means that they're either first or second, maybe third, but they're probably first or second, and they play. So I just gave BYU the nod because of that. But I was right there with you trying to decide who I was going to pick. And ultimately, to do this, you have to make a choice. So I made a choice. A little bit of logic behind it. The rest of the conference, I don't think even comes close. I just took like number 4 through 8 and jumbled them up. So and it was like minor little things. So I agree with you there. And I honestly think that Texas Tech and BYU are both going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's crazy for the Big 12 to get 2 teams in the playoffs.
There's a couple things.
I don't think they're going to win in the playoffs, but I think they can get 2 teams in the playoffs.
I think those two teams could win a game in the playoffs. Not the whole thing, maybe, but those 2 teams could get a matchup and they could win a game.
I've got a couple things here. It's a little bit different from y'all's, but this is why I think obviously all of us have BYU and Texas Tech at either 1 or 2, right? Those are your top 2. And it's pretty given. You guys had Houston pretty low. I'm gonna give y'all some insight on Houston and why I like Houston. Okay. They just went 10-2 last year. Willie Fritz is in his second year. The head coach went 10-2 at Houston. They have Connor Weigman, who honestly, to me, is better than any other quarterback in the Big 12. Don't care what anybody says. They just picked up Mekhi Hughes, who was Oregon's transfer running back. Played a lot of Oregon, did very well. The thing that Houston struggled with last year was they had a bad interior offensive line, and they just got 2 of the better portal guys from Tulane. I forgot where the other one came into, but they've stacked up the offensive line, the interior offensive line. Look, their defense coordinator is very good, Austin Armstrong. That's why I have Houston as third. Okay, I think Houston made a
Yeah,
big
no,
jump.
they're a sleeper
And I
team.
have,
Yeah.
and here's the
Yeah.
thing:
They're a sleeper, yeah,
is
but
Utah's going to fall back because Kyle Whittingham left, and they got a whole new coaching staff. They've lost some guys. Some guys they had some as players go with him. Just don't think Utah's going to be that great. And I think Arizona State is going to be up there with Utah and Arizona fighting for fourth because Arizona State, to me, has the best coach under 40 in entire college football, and that's Kenny Dillingham. By far the best coach under 40, under 45, but the best coach under 45 in college football. Young, energetic, gets the most out of his guys, recruits very well. Look, Houston, y'all need to put some respect on Houston's name. Houston's about to be really, really good. I think they got the best quarterback.
you
Dude,
know,
yeah,
when I
no,
look
no,
at
no, no.
them,
They are an
I was-
Arlington contender. I agree. They're an Arlington contender. I'm not going to say they're not.
you know, when I was looking at it, I had them at the best fourth and at the worst 10th. I settled about in the middle at 7. You know,
Yeah,
I
see,
just,
7 for
I
me.
just, I just think the defense did what it did because they had great outside pressure and they had a great guy up the middle, and those guys are gone. So they're gonna have to do something about that. I just don't trust them. Now I will agree, good coaching, you know, but I just it's Houston. I mean, it's a town. Here's the problem, okay, with these towns, these places where you have NFL franchises, okay, they're always going to be overshadowed. You know, it's not like in South Carolina, there's no pro team. Okay, you had the Panthers come along in the mid '90s. All right, to me, you know, the Panthers are just like all these other run-of-the-mill teams. I don't have any concern or love for them. We've been to a couple of games because they're close. I'm glad that you guys got to see that and stuff. But it just, for me, I mean, you know, so you take them out, and in the state, you have two big college teams, two big name college teams. Okay, for football, same thing in you know in Georgia, the Atlanta Falcons. You know, I mean, for Pete's sake, they had the highest percentage to win a Super Bowl and lost it. Come on. And then, you know, the rest of the South, you know, there's no pro teams, you know, and so it's bigger. Well, these towns where you have pro teams, I just think college teams take a back seat. And I'm not saying Houston's, you know, I mean, they could easily finish third or fourth. Okay. I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I just put them seventh because
Okay, so
I just don't give a lot. I'm trying to work off of what I've seen, what has been proven more, and I just don't see
Okay.
anything there. So, and Drew, if you're right, we'll give you your props.
No, this is why when you said is the Big 12 stronger than people think, I say absolutely. There's just so much from let's even like I said, we can go from teams that we have ranked 4 to 8. They could come out and do something. It's just we don't know. The talent gap isn't as big as people think it is.
I will admit
Okay.
what you're saying there, Ace, is that the top like 8 teams have more potential. I agree with that, but
To win
I
this
ju-
conference, then if you go to,
Yeah, I
to
don't-
the SEC
I don't
or
put
the Big Ten.
predictions. Well, I don't
Yeah.
put predictions on potential. You know, and you're gonna notice that when I go through my picks. I want to, you can't have your, like, for example, if you look at Cincinnati, okay, Cincinnati has some high quality players who have already proven that they can play that are coming in. They also have some really good potential coming in the portal. Okay, so you know they could gel up, they could have chemistry. You know, I just that's potential. So I'm not going to reward potential. I don't draft a guy, you know, and then give him all this money until he's earned something. That's just the way I am. So,
Yeah.
and in sports, particularly football, okay, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, chemistry matters, and I just don't see it happening. So that's why I put them where they are. Houston, yeah, absolutely, they could end up third. They could end up ahead of Utah. I would not
Yes.
put them ahead of BYU and Texas Tech. You know, I think they lose 9 out of 10 times when they play either of those teams.
Right.
So, and I had them 7th, but I'm not saying, hey, Ace, that's crazy. All right, because I think there's some good thought and some good logic
what I
behind
think?
that.
I think that the Big 12 this year, and I'll say this since we're talking about it, is the only conference that has 2 teams undefeated in the regular season.
No, I 100% agree. That could
BYU
happen.
and Texas
Yeah.
Tech. Because guess what? They
Uh-huh.
don't play each other.
Nope, they don't. You're
In
right.
the regular season.
Lindy's has Houston third
Yeah.
behind Texas Tech and BYU. So
Um,
I'm picking 7th. So that means I'm thinking like more of 7-5, 8-4. We'll see. We'll see if they're 9-3 or 10-2.
I'll make that bold prediction right now. The Big 12 has 2 teams 12-0 at the end of the regular season. BYU and Texas Tech.
Yeah,
don't
no,
play each
that's
other.
fair. Well, like, okay,
Well,
here's the great thing about the Big 12.
BYU has
Every
Notre
game is
Dame.
dangerous.
That's the hurdle.
I
So,
still think they'll beat them.
but
Every game is dangerous in the Big 12. You're
Look, man,
always
Notre
gonna get a
Dame.
good game.
Notre Dame loses one game that every year with that being independent. They play a team where they just can't. I think BYU's the team that they lose. That's the game that they lose this year. Notre Dame loses. They'll still get in the playoff. Notre Dame will. They'll scrape in, right?
yeah, 10-2
But they'll lose
gets
to
them
BYU.
in.
Yeah.
So
I think they'll be 11-1 possibly, but
Okay.
It's very beneficial that BYU and Texas Tech don't play each other because that's a case for
Mhm.
both of them getting in. Because if they go in 12-0 at the Big 12 championship, whoever wins that, the other team's still getting in the playoff.
they have to get in. Yep.
Mhm.
Because if they both go in 12-0, okay, and Texas Tech wins, okay, then they're in as the conference champ, no doubt. And BYU can say, hey, we lost to the conference champ, but we beat Notre Dame. You know, we
Mhm.
beat all these other, and we beat, and that means they're going to end up with like 4 or 5 top 25 wins when it's all
Yeah.
said and done. So yeah, they get in. If it goes the other way and BYU beats Texas Tech, same thing. Hey, we had our conference champs undefeated. We lost one game. I don't know how in any way that they can leave them out because there's no way that the SEC and the Big 12 have, between them 7 or 8 teams with only one loss. So,
Let's go back to this. I've got a quick question for y'all. So,
well, I don't know. It could
Is
happen
there-
now. It's so whacked.
is there a true favorite in the Big 12? Do y'all
I mean,
think that
no.
there's
No,
There's
I-
two.
no.
There's two.
Many
and a
will
couple
say-
potentials.
many will say Texas Tech, but there's a lot
It's
of
like-
dark horses.
This is the one conference where if somebody had to ask me, if you had to put all your marbles in one basket on this one team, who would it be? This would be the hardest decision out of any other conference, in my opinion.
I
Genuinely.
agree. I
It,
agree.
I guess Texas.
Well, I
Tech,
don't know,
right? that
because
would have
honestly-
to be the I guess. There's no.
And we'll
Oh
get-
yeah, I'm going with this. No, I can't
Well,
have that for this conference.
We'll get to the Big Ten in a few weeks, but honestly, the top 2 teams there, that's really tough. I haven't even decided my pick yet there. So the other conferences is pretty easy. So yeah, I agree. If somebody said, "Hey, you got to pick one team," here's $20 to bet because I'm not betting with my own money. I would never do.
You're
that.
torn between. Yeah, I already know the 2 teams in the Big Ten. You're torn between. It's Ohio State and Indiana.
Of
obviously.
course.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Figured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The team that just stays at the top, and then the team with probably the best coach in the country. But we'll talk about that in a few weeks. So
Well,
yeah,
no.
but BYU, and I picked BYU, but man, I mean, there were times I wrote down 3 different lists for this conference, and I had 3 different. Well, I had one team twice, and that's why I picked them, and another team once. So yeah, I
Mhm.
agree with you, Ace. It is hard, and I think that unless something happens weird and these teams up with like 3 losses or something, they should both get in.
Let me tell you this too. I'm gonna run through a couple of these contender teams that we believe in, right? So now that we've got there, let's label the contenders. Let's label who they are. And I'm gonna give you mine, and y'all are probably gonna agree. Okay, these are the contenders because I only have a few. Number 1, Texas Tech. That's obvious. Clear front runner, national favorite. Billionaire NIL donor and booster who's willing to spend whatever it takes to make Texas Tech a powerhouse. All right.
Yep.
Arizona or Utah. Okay, a team that's always been in the top 25 as of recent, just lost their coach who got them to this point, still have enough talent. BYU, to me, best coach that's not in the Big Ten or the SEC, seems to do a lot with less, right?
Mhm.
To me, Arizona State, led by a young coach who's shown a lot of promise and competence, he alone could have them, in the playoff. Houston, right? Rejuvenated team. Do the transfer portal, added some guys, have one of the best quarterbacks in college football when he has the right offensive coordinator. They have good coaching. And then, I'm going to throw in that other one. I mean, we all know Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, whatever, Houston, Arizona State. But Arizona's going to be a really good team.
Yep.
Arizona, Noah Fafita, the quarterback, they have him as the first team offense in this magazine that I have. As first team quarterback in the whole conference.
That's
Is
not
Arizona's
crazy.
quarterback.
That's not crazy.
And then they also have the only other linebacker outside of Texas Tech that they have is the one from Arizona, Tay Brown. So
Most
you look at
places
Arizona.
have Drew Mestemacher or whatever,
Mhm.
Mestemaker from Oklahoma State. Most people have him as the top, but I agree.
No.
I agree.
Look,
I don't
Noah
even want to
Fafita
talk about a player this. That's why
Arizona.
I have 10 offensive
Listen.
guys written down that I'm not even going to mention yet.
I have a defensive mindset, and I like defense.
Injuries happen.
And defense is toughness. So Bear Bachmeier is the toughest quarterback in that conference. So that's my number one guy.
I still think it's Connor Weigman, but
the old Texas A&M retread. So I don't know, man. You know what? He's not bad. He definitely is going to benefit from some players around him. And a good coordinator. So what now?
You guys got any other contenders outside of the ones I mentioned?
No.
I would roll with
Baylor,
BYU. Maybe TCU. Maybe that'd be it.
I don't BYU, Texas Tech, maybe Utah, maybe Arizona State. But they're not getting the playoffs. So to me, there's really only two teams that can get in the playoffs, and they both should get in the playoffs if they do what you would think they're going to do.
They do what they're supposed to do.
Hey, before we wrap up, Drew, can you? Did we talk? We didn't talk about it last week, or we did? We talked about it before about the Texas Tech and Texas issue. We talked about that. Chris Sarkisian, yeah. So I'd like to see that. So
I would love to see
the
Sarkisian
talking
I would watch
crap.
That game. If anything, if South Carolina, if they scheduled it for week 1, South Carolina's playing Towson or Kent State week 1. If we're playing and they scheduled the Texas Tech and Texas game the same time as South Carolina, I'm watching Texas and Texas Tech because I know we're gonna win that game.
I know.
Sorry guys, I gotta watch this. I gotta see this.
Yeah, well, you go to Tom's and you could watch it on like 4 TVs.
I know, but if you had to choose,
if I had to choose, absolutely, I would pick that game. Yep, I would pick, and especially after the smack talk and everything, I would pick that game. In fact, I don't think there's a game week 1 I would watch. I mean, the LSU Clemson game is intriguing, so I don't, and we'll go through the schedules and stuff, but that would definitely be the Saturday 8:00 game on ABC. And man, I would make sure everything was done so I could focus on that game.
You're talking about week 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe Clemson and LSU.
That might be the best matchup that week, right?
Yeah.
I think that probably is.
But you know what week 2 is? It's Ohio State at Texas.
Oh, yeah.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
But hey, and you know what? We're gonna go into some. I got some hot Big 12 hot seat superlatives right here. Just some questions we want to run through. I want to get y'all's answers on this. This is how we'll close it out, kind of at the end.
Okay.
Here. But give me the coach under the most pressure in the Big 12.
Wow.
I'll give you mine. Kenny Dillingham, coach at Arizona State.
Really?
Yep, I think he's under the most pressure. Look, he had them in the playoff 2 years ago. They had a disappointing season last year. They haven't been able to replicate and replace the talent that they had with Cam Scatterbo, right? When they had him. Right, this is, it's going to be hard to replace that team. So I think he's got the most pressure because I think that those fans have gotten a taste of what it's like to be in the playoffs, and they expect to be there at some point again soon. And he has the most uphill battle. So
I'm going to say Willie Fritz.
Michael Harris just cleared the bases.
Did he? I was looking and saw we had them loaded. Yeah, that's all we needed was to get a couple. All right, so I'm honestly, I'm going to go with 2, okay? I got Willie Fritz, okay? 2 years at Houston, 14-11. They're expecting a little more. I don't think he can go 6-6.
He went from 4-8 to 10-2. So
I know, but I don't think he can regress back to 6-6. I think 8 or 9 maybe, but if he wins 6 or 7 games, he's in a lot of trouble, okay? And then also, and I'm only saying this, because, I mean, the Utah coach, and that's because he's taken over for somebody. And so he's probably not on the hot seat, but, when Saban left, okay, and Alabama brings in a guy that had been to the playoffs from Washington, but a guy that has not coached in a conference like the SEC, where you can't just be good. You have to be tough. If you're not tough, you're going to get just boat raced in the SEC.
Yep.
Okay. And so a lot of adjustment. So I think this guy, he gets some leeway, but I don't think he can come out and go 6-6. I don't think he can finish 7th or 8th in that conference and survive. If he does, then every single move, every single recruit, every press conference leading up to, and then next year, every game is just going to be pressure. So I'll take those 2 guys.
Okay, Ace. I don't know if you got a coach.
Asking these off the wall
it-
questions about
for-
the fourth conference, and with no preparation. I think that was a good answer.
I mean, yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I got to listen to their coaches, but I mean, I guess the Baylor coach, Dave or whatever,
Dave Aranda.
yeah, Aranda. My
also
reason,
another one that people
I
are a little
mean, I have them. They
hot.
they won the Big 12 title in 2021. You go from that, and then what happens if they end up 6-6? You know what I mean? I feel like this guy's on the hot seat. Expectations at Baylor are high. I mean, I know any Baylor fans. I mean, every year they don't want rebuilds. They want winning seasons. So
Too bad.
they've
You're gonna need
invested
rebuilds.
heavily in these
Baylor's going 4-8,
championships.
man.
They're not
I feel like this guy has some pressure to do well in this conference, and if he doesn't live up to it the next year or two, he gone.
Yep. Too
He gone.
bad. 4-8 it is.
I mean,
All
I
right,
don't
now,
care. I
We'll run
it
through these
makes
pretty
sense he'd
quickly.
be-
Team under most pressure. Do y'all have one? I'm gonna say Texas Tech.
Yeah, they've historically been better as an underdog team.
All the money that they spent, all the attention's on them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
10
So,
first
yeah, so
team
now-
all
now-
conferences.
Now they are this front runner team to win the conference. Everybody
That's
has
easy.
them there, or at least two. And
Right.
if they come out and underperform and end up
Unfortunately
not
for
even
them, they
touching it?
can't finish fourth or worse.
Okay.
9-3 is going to be disappointing.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
Yep.
Even
It will
10,
be.
10-2 might be disappointing for them. Team most likely to disappoint.
Utah,
So,
again, coach.
So Utah.
and-
I'll say
and-
Arizona
and-
State too.
And there's so many teams in that conference in the top tier that could actually beat Utah. So, I mean, they could go 7-5. They're not going to want. They're not going. That is not going to sit well.
Couple more. Team nobody is talking about. I say Houston
yeah, I was about to say, no, you're right. They're probably the most likely surprise team to come up.
or Arizona. Arizona.
Yeah. No,
There's somebody.
I see Arizona as like the dark horse team in this conference. I feel
I'm
like
gonna
they're
say-
at that dark horse place right now.
I want to say Oklahoma State. Now, of course, they got a new coach. They replaced a good coach, a guy that was there a long time, a good coach, a good man. Stood up for his players. Always, So, but they're not. The cupboard's not bare. Okay, they've got some players. So, I mean, I think maybe I'll go with Houston, but my other mention is Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Okay, good one. I like that. All right, toughest road trip. I already have mine.
Boy,
I know exactly. It's all the teams going. Which team has the toughest road trip? And I'm gonna tell you, it could be one game, just one game. Toughest road game. I'm gonna
I'd
go
have
with
to look at
Arizona
some
State
schedules.
at Texas A&M. Arizona State at Texas A&M. That is going to be tough for them.
Yeah, it is. No,
They're
I
going
guess,
to
yeah, I see
A&M.
that.
Guarantee you that'll be a night game. And I think.
No,
Yep,
it's a
week 2,
non-conference
September 12th.
game. So
Yeah, like, are you talking about conference or non-conference here?
if you're talking
Just
about
any-
overall,
Overall, in general,
okay.
me,
All right.
I'd have
I'm-
Arizona State.
I'm going to go with BYU at Utah. Tough
Yeah,
place
there's
to play.
a lot. Yeah,
Tough place
there's a
to
lot to
play.
lose there.
That is the toughest road game that anybody who has any potential to contend has.
Yes.
So in the conference.
I'll go with that.
All right. And I mean, we've kind of already answered this last one I had was best coach in the conference. Take Kalani.
Yeah.
For sure.
I roll that. Yeah.
For sure,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
Easy. So
Does
All right,
he
that's-
say it Sataki?
think so.
Sataki. Because I've
Think-
heard announcers say it 3 different ways.
he's
And I don't
Polynesian.
trust announcers. Yeah, so I posit Polynesian, but yeah, he is the best coach at this point. He's the best
Yeah,
coach in that
we know.
conference.
He is.
He's top 5 coach in the country.
If Whittingham didn't leave for Michigan, he was still there, it'd be him. I would have him as probably the best coach, honestly.
At Utah.
Yeah. The coach from last year at Utah, the one who went to Michigan.
Yeah, that's what
Whittingham
I'm
built
saying.
Utah. Yeah.
Yeah, he left.
If he
yeah,
was still
but
there, that's the best. But now that he's gone,
I don't know. Yeah, that's tough. I like both of those guys. So
But
okay,
that's it.
all right,
all I
that's a
have.
wrap
I mean,
on the
we-
Big 12. The Braves are up 3-2 now, thanks to Michael Harris.
Gotta love this mid-conference.
Pinch hit.
And
Well,
conference.
Gotta love this
So-
mid-conference.
Yeah. So next week is ACC, then the Big 10, then the SEC,
It's-
and then the Power. I guess we'll do the Power.
Good night,
Or
conference.
sorry, we'll do the Group of 5 or whatever, the not Power 4, and count Notre Dame in there.
Well, I think
Cover Notre
Why
Dame
not?
with them since they don't have a conference. They're their own conference. They're like, we win our conference every year. Yeah, you're also the worst team in that conference.
I think these conference games are going to be the best to watch on Saturdays. I just think it's how close the competition is. There's not
I'm
as big a
super-
talent gap. I think it'll be pretty close. It's going to be fun games to watch. Watching this conference play each other.
Listen, I don't like NIL's okay. All right. I think it's out of control and there ought to be something, they just basically open it up as a free for all. So, and now they want to rein it back, but I don't like transfer portal. Okay. I don't like that you can just go and you can play at 7 different schools in 7 years and play all the time and get all these waivers. I don't like that. Okay. I think once you go somewhere, you kind of owe something because the school makes a bit of an investment in you, especially when they give you money. But other than that, college football is still a good, fun sport to watch. So, because anything, last year, South Carolina, 31-3 at halftime. Of course, we lost the game because, Shane Beamer's like, hey, we got this one and, we did half the job.
It's
That's
over.
good enough.
We got him.
And I'm not saying Shane Beamer's a slacker or whatever, but the guy's not disciplined. Okay. The guy's not focused and he's not driven. All right. He's driven to be nice to everybody. But but all that stuff notwithstanding, okay, anything can happen. South Carolina can go to Texas A&M and be up 31-3 at halftime. That's crazy. This, and then a team can come back. I mean, it is a great game.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
All right. Any final thoughts, Chief? I'm gonna close it out here.
No, just
I'm
on the
so
lookout.
ready for the SEC. I'm ready for the SEC and the Big Ten. That's where I got really a lot of my, but those are going to be the big ones. I'm telling you. We may need 2 episodes apiece for those.
For the Big Ten, the SEC, we might have to do that. Yeah.
Because we have there's so much you can say about them.
Yeah.
You got like 5 teams.
And they're each going to have 11 or 12 bowl teams.
Yes, they're going to have, they're all going to have, almost everybody's going to make a bowl except for like the last 3 or 4, bottom 3 or 4. But
South Carolina.
Yeah, we'll win. Look,
we'll see.
We got our predictions coming. All right, guys. Well, if y'all don't have anything else, that'll be it.
All right.
Today.
Yep.
Big 12.
Take care of
preview
yourself.
in
Take
the
care of your
books.
family. Take care of your friends.
Good, Ace. Just head nod. That's it. All right, we're out.